Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. So, guys, we have major tornado damage throughout the south, and today there's going to be a lot of alerts going on for the eastern part of the country as we look at some photos of what has happened. You can see just tremendous damage. And this is Monroe, Louisiana. Of course, we got a lockdown going on. Obviously, most of the world is on lockdown now, and yet the earth changes aren't stopping. And as we've been talking about certain areas where we've seen flooding and an increase in tornadoes, increase in strength of storms, it's all more than likely going to keep increasing. There's really nothing we would see that would stop that as we have more moisture in the atmosphere and the conditions are changing. Here you see storms that spawn tornadoes. They killed 18 people right now in the south and are taking aim on the east coast. 34 volcanoes. I'm thinking about volcanoes all the time now, and quakes too. 34 tornadoes. If it isn't one thing, it's another, and it all depends on where we're at. You have each area in this world that is more susceptible to certain phenomena, and then we have some areas that are susceptible to almost everything. So at least 34 tornadoes reported in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Georgia as of early Monday, National Weather Service said. So at least 7 states from Texas to North Carolina, covering a span of more than 1,200 miles. That's a long way that these things went and shredded up homes going through. So in Mississippi, you have at least 11 people killed in the severe weather. In Georgia, 6 people were killed, including 5 people in Murray County and 1 person in Cartersville. And at least 1 house in Upson County, Georgia, was picked up and moved by the storm. And I was just saying this in these stick-built houses, if you're in a trailer, obviously that's even scarier in these storms, but when you get through the power of these things, it's just amazing. In Arkansas, you have 1 person killed after a tree fell on the home in Jefferson County, and the devastation, as you see, is moving now in towards the Carolinas, Virginia, and even down to northern Florida. Keep your eyes open all the way up to Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So there is potential there for this as well. And I've shared with you guys when I lived in, a small town called Elgin in South Carolina, close to Columbia, experienced a tornado that went through went right across the street, probably maybe about 60, 70 feet up the road from us, and honestly, we all thought we were going to die. It was pretty intense and pretty scary as we just saw it literally cross in front of our path, and everything went black when we were in the car. As you see over here, this is Monroe, Louisiana, just pretty much complete damage. So devastation. You see the airport there. That's Monroe Regional Airport suffering damage. And now you have more homeless victims looking for shelter. So at least 240 houses destroyed through these tornadoes. And this is over at the Watchers as we see more photos, more video to take a look at. Yeah, we've been wondering what the spring is going to bring, and here you see the massive size of these storms. It is definitely something that's scary to behold when you see something like that come rolling towards you. And so you have a tornado watch until 6 p.m. for the entire D.C. metro area. And we see the shattered heart of Comet seen 2019 Atlas. So it appears that Comet Atlas has broken up into at least 3, possibly 4 main fragments. So what does that mean? Well, the experts will say, well, it should probably not manifest as that brilliant, bright comet of a generation that we thought we were going to have, or hoping in some cases we were going to have. And in other cases, people will take this as a good thing, as the comet could be a ill omen in most societies. So we see Comet Atlas disintegrates. Now, at the moment, it's still holding brightness. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen, because we we don't know, and that's the fact still. But it appears to have broken up. So we'll watch this one. And we see here a newly discovered asteroid, 2020 GH2, is going to fly by at 0.93 of a lunar distance on the 15th. Still a lot of near-Earth objects going on. And then, we see this while thousands of Americans need food and are waiting in lines even a half mile long to go buy food. You got the nation's largest farms destroying millions of pounds of fresh goods that they can no longer sell. And that is exactly what we saw over in China, too. So after the unprecedented floods in 2019 and the resultant destruction of millions of acres of agricultural land, farmers are facing another devastating threat. And obviously we know what that threat is. And, Wisconsin and Ohio, you got farmers dumping thousands of gallons of fresh milk into lagoons and manure pits. An Idaho farmer has dug ditches to bury 1 million pounds of onions. In South Florida, a region that supplies much of the eastern half of the United States with produce, tractors are crisscrossing bean and cabbage fields, plowing perfectly ripe veggies back into the soil. The food waste is staggering. Meanwhile, you have restaurants closed, you have people going hungry. And this again shows just how horrible our system is. We benefit in this world from being able to have a variety of foods. We have been benefiting from that pretty much year round. You could get what you want. That's beautiful. But we could do so much better, especially when our whole system is totally about profit. Everything is about profit instead of working together. And, and also this system has been about profit at the expense of Mother Earth herself, as well as about the expense of our health and well-being overall, as we have seen. It's just a very sad situation. So when we rebuild, we got to get it right. And we can't have the same mindset and power that we've seen in power during our lives and going back much longer than just our time spans on this planet in this current incarnation. Thousands of baby chickens hatch out of their eggs along roadside during the pandemic that we see the world in Pakistan. Nature will find a way, and nature is. And actually I saw an article talking about there's 4 times as many bears up in it wasn't Yellowstone, Yosemite, up in the Yosemite area. Nature is making a huge comeback quickly, and she will, most definitely. We're not going to stop that. The only way that would be stopped is, if the Earth was turned into Mars for whatever reason, but otherwise it's going to bounce back, and life will find a way. Let's hope that when we get past all this, we get rid of the deadly destructive system that is completely about nothing but profit and ego and greed and hoarding the wealth of the planet in the hands of the few. So, my friends, as always, thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon and keeping us going in this period of silencing the First Amendment and demonetization. God bless and namaste.